Alright, time to finish the game, starting with the scene at the shack.
I don't want to know who I am.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
Well, what was the point of that?
If you remember, at this point, the Bourne and Franca Potentes character are attacked by the professor. Oh god, what's wrong with your face?
I don't know. It looks like he's trying to pog, but he's
Unless he's the dog.
Also, we don't actually see the kids. They're just referenced off screen.
We have to do what
This guy looks like Ross if he went insane.
Honestly, he look a bit more like a buff Otacon.
Ross from Friends?
Yes, that Ross.
Help me! I can't get past the window!
Yeah, I'm doing. Yes, yes, development team, hi Boone, I played Resident Evil 4 too. A bit at least.
Well, you know everyone was trying to get in on that sweet market cash gravy train.
Jason, I'm scared!
Also, these...
Oh my god, guys, Jason finally did it!
Jason!
Yes!
Jason!
Jason survived the car crash. He's actually...
Yeah.
You see, when he was taken...
You're right, but we're talking to you right now, though.
Well, you see,
What's
when Jason's dad thought that the car crash killed him, in reality, the government took Jason away and turned him into a super soldier.
Eamon hid a shotgun somewhere.
But how did they manage to hide it for so long?
Alright.
They're the government.
Shut up, that's why.
Dwebs. They
just
have
like
top
in-
men. Go on to you.
I'm actually surprised how faithful the team has managed to recreate this scene. If you remember in the movie, Jason finds a shotgun in the house, in this case, Franca Potentes' character actually tells him where it is, and he will have to actually blow up a car blows up a car in order to actually create a smoke curtain so that the professor cannot actually snipe him through that. And again, as we're about to see, we actually did manage to actually recreate this scene kind of decently.
Wow, I mean, he didn't even, he tapped the glass of his elbow and it broke.
To be fair, it's a certain tactic you gotta know to do
Also,
that if you want to do that without getting hurt.
Okay, who puts a stereo at the base of the bed? I'm sorry.
Some people. Well, Tio, sometimes when somebody wants to set the mood while having a little bit
I
of.
perfectly understand having a stereo in the room to set the mood and everything if you want to or anything like that. But at the base of the bed, that's just begging to be kicked out.
Sometimes people like that as part of the act.
All right, there you go. Basically, you need to watch out for the sniper enemy red line. There you go, like that, and use these covers. And blow up stuff like barrels and the car in order to actually gain advantage. Again, for how simple it is, it's kind of nice they managed to, get around to make it work. There we go. Also, if I understand correctly, they did actually use part of for this specific sequence. They used part of the score of the movie
From John Powell, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Again, I mean, I guess it make it sense,
Yeah.
They really did want to pay homage to the movie, I guess.
Interestingly, although as you will see later, for its final phases, the game will take a slightly different direction than the movie.
I imagine so.
A bit like Matrix, The Path of Neo. Although I can assure you, we will not have the director of the movie coming out on screen as a stylized figure telling us about the meaning of life.
That was weird.
Yeah, that's the other thing I noticed about this film. This film's got a severe lack of Brian Cox.
I can also tell you sadly that the professor in this doesn't even remotely look like Clive Owen. Look at that. He looks like a mixture between Steven Seagal and George Costanza. Seriously.
Oh my God, he does.
Wow, that low.
It's funny because you mentioned Steven Seagal, 2002. That was the year his A-list big screen career ended.
Oh god, what was the movie that killed it?
Half Past Dead.
I've heard of that movie.
Ironically
Yeah,
enough.
basically, Joe. Hey, Joe. Basically, Joe. Do you want to see a movie where Steven Seagal teams up with Ja Rule?
Oh, wait. You mean like Fire Festival Ja Rule?
Yeah.
Oh god, that sounds like a recipe for disaster.
We did
And guess what, Joe?
Sorry,
No one else saw it either.
And we did mention in one of the early parts, how exactly the Steven Seagal career turned out anyway.
I mean, he did get one more big screen film after that, Machete, but that was it.
Also, I just interrupted him during his exposition. But yeah, now you have a two-phase boss fight against the Professor. First, he's on the ground. However, as you can see, he kind of has an advantage by you being surrounded by propane, barrels, meaning that you have to watch out because you can potentially get caught in the explosion. And as you have seen in the corner, you also have a time limit to watch out of. This is actually one of the tightest, time limits that you get in our game. So you need to be quick on your feet.
Also,
again,
sorry,
go on.
it's also kind of funny. Last year, Clive Owen, he appeared in a show called American Crime Story, where he played Bill Clinton.
Okay.
Yes,
What?
a guy from Coventry played Bill Clinton.
Huh.
Why? It's a thing. The thing is that Clive Owen's, acting is also extremely thick.
Oh my god,
so,
the light suddenly came on for a bit there.
Yeah, because again we transition to the second phase where the building starts being on fire. And now you have the fisticuff, and again you have 2 minutes to beat him like this. You cannot sadly take your time. Like I said, this is very tight.
It'd be like if a guy from Norwich played George Bush. I can't imagine how that would.
I forgot, Lives. Where is Martin Sheen an American actor? I guess so, but
Martin Sheen.
Yes.
Yes, yeah, Martin Sheen, American. Michael Sheen as well.
No, but because again, Martin, thanks to the Goonies, I learned that as a child by watching the Goonies. He played, President Kennedy.
Well, I mean that should also have nothing on the episode of Red Dwarf where Kennedy ends up assassinating himself to preserve the timeline.
Interesting.
Season 7, but Season 7 wasn't bad, it was weird.
So, it's weird. In a lot of ways, Red Dwarf sounds a bit similar to Doctor Who when you describe it.
It's more of a traditional comedy show, though,
Well, sci-fi comedy, and Red Dwarf has had at least one of its co-creators be present throughout the show's history. But like any show that runs for that long, inevitably will have its ups and downs. Like, I'll only ever if you tie me to a chair and force me to watch episodes of Season 7, I will only ever let you convince me to watch 2 of them.
Really? That bad?
Out of 8 episodes. The rest is just kind of mediocre or duck soup. And that's the name of the episode and this quality.
I'm guessing duck soup isn't exactly the best over there.
It's painful.
Ooh.
Like, okay, put it this way. The version I watched was the director's cut, the one that didn't have a laugh track because remember Season 7 was recorded without an audience. They showed it to them afterwards, but they only showed the broadcast versions to that audience. So, they didn't get a laugh track for the extended version.
Alright.
But to be honest, if you hadn't told me that was the case, I would have believed you. You told me they didn't laugh because it wasn't funny.
Alright, one more QT just to
And he's down.
Oh.
Yeah.
Really, it was that simple in the film.
Oh my, Brian Cox looks different.
Jason.
He lost a lot of weight.
Whoever you sent to kill me is dead.
This doesn't have to end like this, Jason.
Uh-huh.
Why don't you come in so we
Sure.
I can't help you if you won't talk to me, Jason. What about Marie? Can you put her on the phone?
Marie's dead. She was slowing me down. Enough talk. I make the plans now. 5:30 p.m. Paris. Today. Point Neuf. You come alone. You walk to the middle of that bridge. You take off your jacket. Face east. I'll redial this number.
Freezing!
It's so specific as a request for recognizing. Like,
I mean,
I had would have made more sense.
maybe it's paying homage to that bit in From Russia with Love, when the villain tells the Bond girl to take her jacket off for no reason.
I suppose. Shank.
Dead. Of course, we gotta show off the
Yeah,
Eiffel Tower because we're in Paris.
This is our last level, essentially. First, we have to deal with the snipers on the roof, then get down from the building, and then traverse the streets.
How about that, Dwibs? It takes place in the homeland of the British's mortal enemy, the French.
Location has been compromised.
I'd say the Germans, but yeah.
No, Dweebs, to be fair, again, from all the history and historical figure biography that I studied, yes, the French is a much more prevalent type of nemesis in the UK history.
I'd argue the Germans.
How about both?
No, like I said, again, okay, if anything, you know, the Holy Roman Empire was mostly chill towards the Great Britain. There were the different things instead, again, first against the Normans, which, you know, were part of France when, you know, the Vikings decided to convert to Christianity. Then there was of course, the 100-Year War. Then there was minor stuff, for example, minor competition involving people like Henry VIII.
True, yeah, like France and Britain have had it pretty bad.
Oh yeah, you mentioned Christianity. That was actually one of my favourite episodes of the more recent Red Dwarf series to end that discussion on a high note.
Oh!
Basically, the Red Dwarf crew meet Jesus.
That was quite a leap.
Mm-hmm.
I won't say any more because that will spoil it.
So, with Red Dwarf, that show's still going, huh?
It had a recent TV movie released in 2020.
Was it good?
Roof 2.
I'd argue it was solid.
Roof 2 may be down. Can somebody investigate?
No, it's okay. Everyone's dead anyway.
No, you see, we're just going for a drill, sir.
Repeat. Roof
The results
What's your
may
operating?
surprise
Who
you.
is this?
requesting back.
Who is this? What's your operating number?
Let's just say I was born ready.
Also, Dwaves, just so we can set up for how things diverge, can you retell, since also, if I recall correctly, that, okay, someone wasn't in the original movie commentary, and it was more than a year ago anyway. So, even for the audience sake, can you remember how the movie originally ends? You know, the climax and final sequence?
I think it was Bourne and
Mary.
Bourne and his new friend driving away.
Yeah, because
while Brian Cox gets killed very unceremoniously by one of the assassins that got engaged.
So I imagine for a video game this will get changed up because, well,
You'll see just in a second.
When is backup coming?
But how come he was in the other movies?
you see, it turns out that he's actually Solidus Snake.
Sure, why not?
We're on our way.
Oh my god, wait. Pedro, Brian Cox is Solidus
Four is
Snake.
down. Repeat. Sniper 4 is down.
Actually, no, his voice actor was the same who voiced, I forgot, one character in Dark Chronicle, I think.
Oh, here's the thing, Joe. Right now, Oscar Isaac is kind of practicing for that role in Moon Knight anyway, so...
Oh, oh yeah,
Yeah,
Moon
he
Knight.
plays Solid Snake.
Mark Spector is, you know, like a kind of secret agent type character anyway, so yeah.
Oscar Isaac as Solidus Snake. I don't know.
Solid.
Solid stuff.
Yeah. The one I was suggesting was Solidus Snake when it comes to Brian Cox.
The villain of the second game.
Yeah.
Alright, the cool thing about Moon Knight is that Oscar Isaac gets to use both of his accents, his American one and
His British one.
his British one. So You can tell the filmmakers took advantage of that because they made the dialogue incredibly British. They pulled out all the British terminology. but we have bugger, we have bloody, we have mate, we have cheers, all of them.
I have to admit, part of me is surprised that Moon Knight actually that is showing up on Disney Plus, right?
You move, you die. Are you Treadstone?
Boy, you don't know what you're doing, do you, Jason? You don't have a goddamn clue.
Who am I?
Jason Bourne.
U.S. government property. You're a malfunctioning $30 million weapon.
I don't want to do this anymore.
I don't think that's a decision you can make.
Yeah, you were saying?
Jason Bourne is dead. He drowned 2 weeks ago, you understand? I'm on my own side now.
Okay.
Oh, and that's it.
And then they burst in on him.
Yeah, because the entire building is swarming with, other operatives.
Although he probably could have just swung
they're
back
really
out the
rude.
window, though. I'm surprised. I thought the final boss was actually going to be a fight with Brian Cox.
Again, the game's not over yet, Jova. Also, what's with the piano?
Why not?
It reminds me like an actual piano version of the music used in the first level of Terminator on the NES. Dun 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 dun.
That was, Well, you know what? It's still not as amazing as the piano tunes in the director's cut of Resident Evil 1.
That's supposed to be a piano?
Supposedly.
That was
based
an
on-
organ.
No, I thought it was a not digitized, but synthesized trumpets.
Yes. They use
I mean,
synthesized trumpets, but going off of an apparent remix and reimagining of a tune, apparently that was supposed to be a piano that's making that sound. Which, I know, right?
I mean, if I recall correctly, the GameCube remix anyway has their own theme anyway, so at the very least that is bypassed.
The best save for a game in Resident Evil is the one
What the hell was
no.
that face?
The ragdoll.
Sorry.
Sorry, go on.
No, well, it's like all the other Marvel shows, Joe. It's on Disney Plus, yeah. I mean, I've watched all 3 episodes so far. It's actually pretty good so far.
I'm actually
considering who made it, that's a surprise, considering who made it.
Trust me, it was actually a big shock when Disney added their Marvel shows to Disney Plus because, well, pretty much everyone thought that American-wise it was just going to get pushed to Hulu, which, as far as we knew, that's what they were doing with the, with the stuff that's explicitly adult stuff, but no, surprisingly, they went above and beyond and have now added, adult control functions to keep kids from watching that.
Well, Jova, let's face it, MCU is their biggest cash cow right now, so obviously it's obviously behooves them to actually put that on their proper streaming platform to inside subscriptions, so...
So now we officially...
But no, actually, that's the big surprise. The guy who made the terrible Death Note thing on Netflix, I mean, again, the Bourne Knight is actually pretty good.
He was the writer for it, right? Not the director.
Oh, no. I don't know if Jeremy Slater is the main writer. Let me see. He's the showrunner. It's a showrunner, but I don't know if he writes.
No, I was talking about for Death Note.
I was about to say, Jeremy Slater, isn't that Hawkeye? Oh, wait, no.
That's Jeremy Renner.
That's Jeremy Renner.
Also, if I recall correctly, it's more of also of a case where, similar to other series, each episode is written and directed by different people. Like, there's a general still guideline overall, but each episode is handled differently.
The main reason I'm really surprised about that is Disney were really sticking hard to it, that it is nice to see them do this. Although I will say this, the fact that they added not only all these Marvel shows, but also Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to Disney Plus, will once again confuse us as to what exactly is now canon from these Marvel shows.
Okay, so I have the perfect explanation. The multiverse variants.
I mean, that's easy as a reasoning, but to be fair, some kind of in-universe confirmation, or at least like a sort of category folder separation on the service could help, I suppose.
Does it?
Ooh,
Yeah, but what I'm seeing here, Jeremy Slater was
what the fuck? If I recall correctly, he does that also in the movie.
Okay, like, I mean, look, it's been said by folk before, but I will say it again. Screw this supposed excuse of, oh, knowing that Coulson's alive would have taken away the Avengers' motivation or something, like, just show he's alive by the time of Endgame.
Or, you know, make it a plot point. Maybe that could have been the excuse for starting the Civil War.
Yeah, that too, like...
Well, I mean, that's the thing, that in the terms of the MCU movies, the next time you saw him was in a prequel.
I swear, it constantly felt like that's what they were building up to with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. at some point, but then stuff got screwy and, yeah. Yes, Pedro?
Oh. Okay, to address Teo's point, yeah, okay, it turns out Teo's right. Jeremy Slater is apparently only the showrunner. He doesn't actually do any of the writing.
Okay.
And guess what, Pips?
Yeah?
Episode 3 has 3 writers. One of them was a person of interest writer.
Oh.
So,
I mean, I guess he had to do something after it got cancelled.
Well, yeah. Well, no, okay, no, okay, this explains it, I guess. I mean, was Jeremy Slater the writer of the Death Note thingy? Yeah, he was right here. Screenplay by.
So
okay, I guess my guess is Marvel.
Slater did write episodes. He did write episode 1 on his own, and he co-wrote episode 6, which isn't out yet at the time of this recording.
So how connected?
So the pilot and the final one.
So he pretty much sandwiched it. So, how connected to the MCU is Moon Knight? You know,
we don't. Okay, so far, again, we're recording this only with 3 episodes in. We don't really know at what specific, place in the timeline set in. It's very self-contained for the time being, but no doubt we might get some kind of Easter egg at some point, especially considering it's set in London for at least its beginning. But we'll just have to see how it goes overall. The makers did express, and remember, Feige did mention that characters showcased with the start of the Disney Plus series will eventually appear in the movies in some capacity anyway. So we'll have to see. If I had to hazard a guess, Moon Knight might show up for the Blade movie in some capacity. While not commonly, he usually hangs out with the Midnight Suns, so sure. Also, let me mention this. This section kind of sucks because also mini, pro placement. Kind of sucks because you're now handling enemies with rocket launchers. So if you don't kill them, they can easily one-shot you. And trying to actually take aim properly, it's more of a hazard more than anything. Yeah.
But Tio,
I guess.
Tio, you're the epic Jason Bourne. If you can't go up against death-defying stunts like that, well, what right do you have to call yourself Bourne?
Well, I gotta say, guys, between the giant fall and then going up face-to-face against people with rocket launchers, I guess you can't get rid of the James Bond influence entirely from Jason Bourne.
Hey, well, I'm seeing here on IMDb, Jeremy's credit for writing in all the episodes so far is just as created for television by. The actual staff writer, it says here on the first episode, is Danielle Eman. So,
oh, fuck, there's another one.
IMDb counts created by a creator as a writing credit for some reason.
Oh yeah, Jason Bourne, rockets. That sounds like fun. Whee!
let's get right into the explosion.
I'm seeing here on his Wikipedia page. Apparently, according to what he just said, apparently a lot of the stuff he wrote with Josh, what's his name? Sorry. Josh Trank, that's it. That's his name. Apparently, a lot of what Josh Trank and him wrote for Fan Stick did not make into the final film. Apparently.
Yeah.
And he also claimed that the finished version of Death Note deviated eliminated several significant elements from his original screenplay draft.
So basically, this guy's
I
had some
can't
pretty
believe it.
crap luck
Alright,
when
here
it
we
comes
go.
to film.
I forgot exactly who he's called, but there you go, there's the last assassin. And there you go, just like in the movie, Brian Cox gets shot like that. However, if you remember, like Reeves mentioned, this is the point where Bourne decides to just basically fuck off and go live in Frank Potente. In here, no, we're having an actual showdown against the assassin in a cathedral to boot.
Okay,
It's
but
symbolic.
okay. So I forget, why did the agent kill Cox in the film? It's been a while
The
since he's-
internal affair, Jova. Apparently, there's a kind of a thing in a sense that he failed the superiors, if I recall correctly, which was essentially
I didn't see you?
a little bit of a.
Yeah.
a sort of a hint for the sequels, you know, in
Yeah.
how they were going to handle them.
I mean, besides, Brian Cox had to appear in X-Men 2 the following year.
all right. Again, this fight goes on for quite a while. You essentially have to chase this guy through the entire cathedral and then some, essentially.
Kill me. Who will tell you
Oh, and he has
I
quite
don't even
the
know who you
front
are.
You are the
accent.
loudest assassin I've ever heard.
And he's
Go on,
French.
Pedro.
Seriously, you don't want me to find out your position? Shut up.
Well, no, not only that, he doesn't want us to kill him as well. Like,
your training, guess what?
Okay, yeah, again, you can't take Bond entirely out of it. That man there is just as shitty a spy as James Bond.
well,
I
he's
kinda-
not
I
necessarily a spy. He's an assassin.
I kind of understand the logic that they wanted to go because when you get down to it again, the movie, while it makes sense, it kind of ends slightly anticlimactically. So at least giving you an actual final boss in some capacity is, you know, nice, some kind of way.
I guess.
No, we need the main villain of the Jason Bourne series to make clothes of himself
And
then
make a
form
giant robot.
Yeah.
Also, through this entire fight, I was
Also-
kind of getting some pinstripe, you know, flashbacks
Looks like-
from the first crash.
He looks like Alfred Molina.
Bit too thin on the side.
Dr. Octavia was wrong.
And of course, we're essentially ending with a fisticuffs in the fucking graveyard.
Well,
Symbolic.
I mean, at least we'll have to go far for his funeral.
Okay, I forgot. Where did you actually make that joke, Lives?
No, that was more specific kinds.
Oh,
Of
look, a
funerals.
shovel. Can I actually beat him with that? Let's try it out.
Yeah, you can dig his grave while you're there. How considerate.
I swear we kind of went through this. There we go. Bam! Pay attention. Yeah, keep notice of that, the action that he just performed because it's gonna be important for how the fight ends.
Don't tell me you
But,
can also knock his head on a tombstone as well.
Yes, like I said, the devs went above and beyond in making all these different takedown animations when they really did not have to. Again, they just decided to just because it's fun. And I do agree with that because that's, like I said, that's one of the appeal of the actual fighting in the Yakuza games. So, yeah, I perfectly agree. Come to think of it, this guy kind of looks a bit like Majima. But where was I? Right. I swear, Drips, there was a recent commentary where we did, where you kept mentioning about, the core. There
Yeah,
we go.
the
about
core.
each character dead. F.
The core. What a weirdly bad, insane, but quirky movie.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, a movie we did recently that, to be honest, I mean, it's a
You're
bit
not
hilarious to
missing
me,
much.
but it's still a mess, and one that suffered from a lot of executive meddling because Paramount had no idea how to deal with a sci-fi story, basically.
Yeah.
Also, being the final boss, as you can imagine, this guy, trims away more of your health with each blow, so you have to be careful in how you actually, beat him.
Wait, it had Delroy Lindo?
Yep. Dedge, the core is one of the most silliest openings that a movie expects you to take seriously.
Bunch of people dying because of pacemakers failures.
The problem is that they die in
one
incredibly...
and one of them just slams on top of a glass table.
They all die with funny-looking faces, and like, I don't get why.
Also, why was there an explosion? We didn't do anything.
I guess the scene just had to explode from how awesome it was.
Alright, if I can correctly, we're ending the fight now.
Oh, which poster are you looking at, Dedge?
Hold on.
Oh, that one. Alright. I now shall sing to you your final rites.
Magically enough, the shovel is now back in full again.
What?
Slam dunk! And that's it. He's dead.
Well, there's... I was going to hit the water, then he could have got the burial at sea.
No. But just like that, Bourne is gone. And now we basically recreate the final shot of the movie where Frankenpotent's character, in Greece, gets greeted by Jason. And then basically when we cut the credits. There we go.
This is your store?
Yes.
It's nice. A little hard to find, but...
Oh, I hope nothing goes wrong for us from now on.
Hey, look,
And
it's
that's it.
it's Abatos from Sonic Unleashed.
Again, just like in a typical licensed product, unfortunately, even the ending is kind of cut short. It's not on the level of Battleship for in HD version, but it's still kind of silly, admittedly.
No Moby.
Sorry, Dibs.
So yeah, final thoughts, I suppose. Again, no post-credit scenes or anything. Again, this was done kind of after the ultimatum. The franchise was kind of over in terms of the original trilogy and everything. So, Dej, since you haven't been here the whole time, for what did you see? What do you think?
It sure looks like a licensed game of that generation. They did try their best with how limited they were, even though it was like, yeah, they didn't have much of a budget. It still looks like a competently made game. I have no immediate desire to play it, but yeah, this commentary was fun.
Pedro.
Honestly, I don't have much to say. It looks like a very average type of a licensed game. Yeah, it does have some nice stuff like the fighting animations and stuff like that. Aside from that, it looks very typical, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't. There's not that much I can say. I mean, it seems like it functions fine. You know, the story is kind of just there, but yeah, there's not. It seems very run of the mill.
Lives.
It looks okay. I mean, it does kind of suffer a bit that it doesn't have Matt Damon there, since this is clearly based off the movie.
Matt Damon.
But aside from that, it's just kind of a weird version of the movie. Like it's like you're watching a direct-to-TV remake that couldn't afford most of the actors. You get to play it sometimes. The gameplay looks fine, but again, that's just about it.
Java.
It's a fine game. High Moon Studio did show some promising beginnings with this one. It's still not worth full price. I'm sorry, it's too short for that. And not everything's perfect, but I do feel like they did take good steps to pay good homage to the movie. The gameplay feels nice, tight, and fun, so that's well. The music is fine enough too. So, it's a fine and fair game. Still not worth full price, though.
Mm-hmm. I'll conclude. Compared to the movie, it's a bit, judging strictly in terms of relation plot to the movie, it's sadly a weak product because the movie's plot is abridged really fast. Most of the characters do not even get much of an introduction or anything, and a lot of the memories that Bourne gets to have are mostly just filler stuff, that doesn't really pan out and just for the sake of having a level, which I don't really have a problem with that, but you can tell that the developers High Moon had to work with relatively little material, but I still do commend the final product because it has the basis to be a great game, both for the end-to-end combat and the actual shooting. The problem is that it's sadly not well developed, probably because of the low budget and time constraints that they had. Shame also that they couldn't get the original cast. Oh, it's nice that they could get Franca Potente to reprise a role. That's nice. I would have part of me morbidly kind of desires to see that kind of game that Matt Damon wanted to be made about Jason Bourne. A Sierra-esque point and click, a bit similar also to Myst. Kind of like more focus on puzzle solving, because even for what's supposed to be an action, adaptation, something like that can be achieved. It just needs to be done competently. So something done like that by someone like Ron Gilbert, just toning down, a sense of humor, I think can work potentially. Who knows? But otherwise, while I do enjoy the combat, it's still not super developed, and the graphical detail it showcased the age of the game. It was done in the early age of the Xbox 360 and the PS3, and it shows the performance is all over the place. There wasn't sadly a PC port, so I guess only emulation can make this work properly potentially, but I haven't seen it for myself if it actually gets emulated decently. The score is very forgettable, even if it uses part of a movie. I'm sorry, this is not really something that I will remember anytime soon anyway. I don't think it's all very bad, just there, like that. There's also the aspect that I did mention towards the beginning, the fact that this game kind of forgets the entire message of the movie, in a sense that Jason has to cleanse himself because he believes the action that he committed in the past are bad, but in here he's more shrugged, and there's not given much weight to the slaughtering that Bourne has done over the years. It's just, doesn't pose much of a question for the sake of having shooting sections. That's not not good when it comes to adapting that kind of source material for the media. Otherwise, that's pretty much it. There weren't any more games like we mentioned, unfortunately, but I do believe it could be possible to have one, in the modern age. But I guess no one is just interested to be done, especially considering the movie series has been kind of dead since 6 years ago in 2016. There were plans to make it a reboot as a tie-in with the Treadstone TV series, apparently. But that series, if I correctly, got cancelled anyway. So we don't know what's gonna happen to this Bourne franchise. For us, well, enjoyed the minor rest of the credit, but for us, we'll see you back when we get back to the movies with the Bourne Supremacy from 2004. See ya.
Then.
See ya.